Paul, put a smile on that face.
Amen.
Hey, the great news today is church is canceled. Internet's down.
Nah, you can do it.
I think so. I think so. There's an advantage for using today's technology, but there's also a disadvantage. Whenever the internet's down, so is all your records and everything like that. Even though the sermon comes from the Lord and from my heart, however, it's transposed onto the internet for obvious reasons because of the YouTubes and all those other social medias and stuff like that. So whenever the internet's down, so is the distribution. But we're going to kind of go old-fashioned here. We're actually going to use the Bible. Can you believe that? I know. Control yourself. It's tough. It's tough. But we're actually going to have to use the Bible and all that.
Roll your phone out.
No. So the title of today's message is Watch Me. Now, although this may be, or it may sound like I'm directing it to parents, don't let it just be for parents. This is everybody in the church family, from grandparents to, of course, parents to nurseries to just everyone can use this. Watch me. Remember those two words, watch me. In 1 Corinthians 11th chapter, verse 1, the first translation we're going to use is the English Standard Version, and then we're going to go to the old-fashioned King James Version. So the English Standard Version reads, "Be imitators of me as I am of Christ." Now we're going to switch over to King James Version, same words, well, same translation. "Be ye followers of men, even as I am of Christ." So how does that translate to us? In other words, if you want to know how to follow Jesus, follow me. This is the attitude we all must have. Follow me. Today, just like in our schools and everything like that, we send our kids off for them to be taught, which is fine. But a lot of parents seem to think, well, that's all. There's no responsibility once the children get home for me. But that's when the responsibility really starts. You've got to understand, our kids are influenced by outside influences every day. Some are good, don't get me wrong, but the majority of it is bad. It really is. So in other words, you're depending on your children to go to a strange place, away from home, having friends that are out of your control, inspiring your children in the ways that they were brought up or the ways that they're thinking is right. And then whenever your children comes home and they're misbehaving or they have an attitude or anything like that, we just sit back and let it go. Or yet, we try to discipline them. We don't sit them down and we don't sit down and tell them, hey, the attitude you have is understandable. That's the world's view. This is yours and Dad's. This is Mom and Dad's perspective on how life is. The world is going to tell you one thing.
Right.
All right? We're going to show you the right way. And that's the kind of influence that parents should have. So let's go ahead and let's do this. Kids today have a saying, and I'm sure every parent I know I heard it whenever I was a parent. I'm sure you hear it now. They have a 2-word phrase that every kid says, and they say, watch me. And kids are so enthusiastic whenever it comes to watch me. They want to see your attention drawn to them. But as parents, we shouldn't ignore that, but we've got to flip this around. It needs to be, hey children, instead of me watching you, why don't you watch me and Dad? All right? We want to be influences in your life. We understand that for 8 hours during the day, you're with complete strangers, with friends, with teachers, with outside influences. But when you're in this house, watch us. Watch me. Because I'm going to teach you what you need to know about life. Parents, we have got to flip it around. We need to tell our kids, watch me. Watch me to see what it looks like to follow Jesus. Watch me to see what it looks like to pray. And parents, I don't know if you realize this, but you don't have to go to college. You don't have to go to seminary. You don't even have to go to church every Sunday. All right, if you just sit down with your kids, they don't care how you talk. All they're seeing is, you know what, Mom and Dad is taking time and spending that time with me. And you as parents, you as grandparents, you as church folks, you need to realize people are watching you. All right? And we should hold that badge very proudly. Watch me. This is the way it is. This is the way it should be. Sons, you want to know how to love a woman? Watch me. Sons, you want to know how to love your wife someday? Watch me. Husbands need to step up. Fathers need to step up. You know, quit depending on the world. The world's going to paint a picture that seems great on the inside, but when times get tough, guess what? They're going to go the easy route. And when they go the easy route, guess what happens? Relationships fall apart because it's not on a foundation that it needs to be on. And parents, you got to realize, you know what? Children's got to see love somewhere. They're looking for it out in the world. They're looking for it in first grade. They're looking for it in fourth grade. They're looking at it in junior high. They're looking at it in high school and colleges. What they need to do is they need to see that love at home. They need to see it in front of their mom and their dad. And if you're a single parent, you know what? Sorry, man up, cowboy up, cowgirl up, whatever it takes. You may have to do double portion. Because every child needs a mother, every child needs a father. And each one has their own role. And sometimes moms have to play the father position. It's not fair. And the church has done a poor job in stepping in and helping those single moms. But let's not forget those single dads too. The dads, don't let it, come on up here. Help me preach, girl. Sometimes a man needs help too. Sometimes we need help too. All right, let me not get sidetracked. Moms, to your daughters, do you want to see how to love your husband? Watch me. Listen to that. Moms telling their daughters, do you want to know how to love a man? Watch me. Because if they're watching TV, if they're listening to stories on recess, if they're, YouTubing, whatever they're doing, they're going to get the impression that the world wants them to have. And let me tell you, that's not a good one. That's not a good one at all. I want my children, as well as you, to learn the right way. Watch me. Stand up. Be what you're called to be. You're the one that took the responsibility of being a parent. And part of that responsibility is to raise those kids the right way. And they're watching you. And you should proudly wear that badge. Watch me. Moms, I'll show you how to love a husband. Just watch me. Today, a lot of women, they don't know how to love because they were never taught how to love a man right. Just like there's a lot where us as men, we messed up. Peer pressure, whatever you want to call it. Stupidity is what I call it. It's not hard to treat someone right. It's not hard to treat everyone with respect. It really isn't. You lose your testimony when you resort to not respecting someone. Even though they may have a different view, as soon as you disrespect them, the door is shut. If somehow you can find common ground without compromising what you believe and how you believe it, the door stays open, and one day that person, that mom, that dad, that person may come, hey, you know what? You got a point. You have a point. I was wrong. Now, that's something we don't hear today. I was wrong. Nor do you hear, watch me. If we could learn, I'm wrong, hey, and watch me, I guarantee you doors will be open that you thought was shut for a long time. Well, I wasn't wrong. Well, maybe your attitude, maybe the substance, maybe the subject you weren't wrong, but your attitude, you're wrong. If you're not willing to open up and let people see, then you're wrong. But I've been hurt. Suck it up. Everybody's been hurt. What are you going to do? You're going to live the rest of your life in a padded room, white, kind of like Monk. You ever seen that show, Monk? Some of y'all are too young. But Monk was such a germophobic that there was one time they were having a trash day and they went on strike, so the city was filling up with trash. And he was freaking out. So at that particular time, the cops put him in a white, static-free, germ-free. I mean, he was just in heaven. But you're sheltered from what you need to be a part of. We protect ourselves sometimes so much that we forget what our ministry is. Sometimes we're so afraid to go against the grain. Our children need to see, watch me. They need to know how to love a man, how to love a woman, how to respect someone, how to not disrespect, but honor people. And I think a lot of times we fall short of that. You want to know how to succeed? Watch me. You want to know what it looks like to fall? Watch me. Don't let your children just see you succeed. Don't just let your children see everything good. They need to see when you fall. They need to see when you mess up. They need to see when the checkbook is running low and things are tight. They need to know these things. But most of all, they need to know how you react to that. Because it's all going to happen. Don't shelter your kids. They need to know how to react. Because one day they may be in the same boat that you're in. What example are they going to look? Are they going to look back? You know, this is how mom and dad handled it. Dad got a second job. Mom started babysitting some neighbors' kids. We got that bill paid for. Yes, it was hard. Yes, it was uncomfortable. Yes, there were sacrifices. But the children will know, never give up. There's always a way out. There is a way of escape, like the Bible tells us. But most of all, they're learning from you. They're not learning from society. They're not looking at some post or some reel on Facebook. They're looking at real life examples. But parents would rather just throw an iPad at them and let them learn from there. I want you to watch me. I want to teach you how I want you to love a man, you to love a woman, how to respect your neighbors. I want you to see how it looks to have the enemy throw everything that he has in your face. Again, if you're coming here to learn about Jesus and thinking that, oh my God, everything's just roses, I'm not going to sell you that. Sometimes serving God is pure hell. There's no other way to accept it. It's pure hell. Well, I finally got caught up on my bills. Man, summer comes. My light bill goes from $200 to $500. Where's that extra $300 coming? My daughter got home from school. Now she's got an attitude. Welcome to teenage. My son threw the baseball through a window. Now I got to replace the window. My husband's got to work all the time. My wife's got to work all the time. I'm stuck with the kids all the time. You know what? Perfect. I know. It wasn't mine. Wasn't mine.
I only had it.
Watch me. Children, watch your parents. See how they react. I'm challenging you, kids. Absolutely. You know, it's about time parents are held accountable. Not by society, not by church, but by the very kids that they love. Mom, why are you getting mad at this? Dad, why are you doing this? You're a better person than this. You tell me you love me, but you treat me like poop. Why? Never be afraid to ask your parents that. It's about time parents are held accountable. Don't wait for the preacher or the youth pastor to come up and say, you know, hopefully hit a sermon. Hopefully cover that subject. Mom, I don't understand. You tell me this is how to love a husband, but I'll watch you with my dad. I don't understand. How can you say that but do the opposite? Now, does that sound like a lot of Christians today? We say one thing, but you know what? When it's time to do something, we're acting totally different. Watch me. That's what you need to be remembering. Every day, your children's watching you, and they should. I want to see how it looks to have an enemy throw everything. I want to see what it looks like for parents fighting for the love of their children. Watch me. Watch me how I'm going to protect you from those bullies on the playground, or those cyber bullies on the internet. Just watch me. I'm going to teach you, because one day you're going to have kids, and you're going to need to know what to do. And I don't want social media to dictate how you teach your children, my grandchildren. Now, it would be ideal, you know what, if every parent is Spirit-filled, Holy Ghost, and all that. But let's just face it, a lot of parents today aren't that way. And that's okay. We as church members, we don't need to be judging that. What we need to do is we need to stand up and say, okay, watch me. I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to condemn you. I'm not going to tell you you're doing everything wrong. I'm not going to tell you you're doing everything right. But what I will do is I will support you in any way you need me to support you. If you're looking for me to judge you, go somewhere else. They will. I'm here to stand by your side and tell you, you know what? Whatever you need, I'm here to listen. Whatever you need, I'm here to try to fulfill that. So watch me. Watch me how I do things. I love that song. I wish I could do that. Woo! I do that, spit and fly everywhere. Malachi 7:8 says, although I've fallen, I will get up. Although I sit in the darkness, the Lord is my light. Forget being religious. Parents, take this at heart. Children are going to face dark times. They're going to fall. Let's just pray that they watched me enough to know how to handle that. You know, whenever we had the youth ministry here at this church and everything like that, we got kids, and I'll be honest with you, and I have preachers in this community. I mean, by no means is Silsbee a rich community. It's not like the Woodlands or Spring or anything like that. We've got some poor people in this neighborhood, in this community, in this city. We don't have mega millionaires and all that. But there are actually churches that would turn kids away. Can you believe that? Kids. Hey, come over here. Not a problem. We'll talk to you for 15 minutes. We'll sing and praise God for about 15 minutes. And then we're going to go outside and we're going to eat and we're going to enjoy each other. We're not going to judge you. And let's just face it, a lot of times this was the only hot meal that they would get. The only food they would get. And I tell you, there was many times where parents just dropped their kids off, not knowing none of us. Not caring. All they knew is, you know what, I'll drop my kids off. I'll pick them up in an hour, hour and a half. I get a free babysitter for an hour, hour and a half. They get a hot meal. They're safe. But those kids were watching them. So this is the struggle that church has. Parents want to say, watch me. But what are they telling their own kids? Hey, you're not important enough for me. I'm just going to drop you off and let someone else take care of you. I'm going to drop you off. So parents, get involved in school. Go to the school board meetings. Go to the civics. I mean, just be a part of everything you can when it comes to your children, because guess what? They're going to fill in, the world's going to fill in those gaps that you don't. They will. Although I've fallen, again, kids, it's okay if your mom and dad falls. Parents, it's okay if your kids see you fall or fell in something. What's the most important thing is, how do you get up from that fall? How do you turn that light back on so there's no more darkness? That's what kids are looking for. Everything's good when everything's good. But when it hits rock bottom, and they know it, don't think that you're sheltering your kids. They know when it's rock bottom. How are you going to react? How are you going to teach them how to get through this? When the enemy has thrown everything, has blocked every avenue, even to the point where, you know what? I want to give up on life. You can't give up on life. You've got kids that are depending on you. You've got a husband, or you've got a wife, or you got a mom or dad. Hey, if you run out of all those people, I'm depending on you. And I'm sure there's a lot of other people here that are depending on you. Mom and dads, we've got to flip it around. We have got to be an example for our kids. We've got to show them what it means to follow Jesus. But before they follow Jesus, not many preachers have preached this, but before they follow Jesus, they need to follow me. Parents telling their kids. You know, oh man, I can't wait to get my kids in church and get them saved. You're making it twice as hard on the church whenever you do that. Teach your kids what love is. But listen to this. There comes a responsibility with love. We all just think all we got to do is say, I love you. Check that box. It's off. Let me tell you, just like I said in the last sermon, until you love yourself, how do you expect anyone else to love you? Not being arrogant, not being selfish. You've got to love yourself enough to allow someone else to love you. But the Bible also talks about this other love. Until you know God and His love in your life, you don't know what love is. You think you know what it is. I thought I knew what love was, but I didn't. I thought I knew whenever I held my baby for the first time what true love was. Was I wrong? Teach your kids what love is in your eyes. So whenever they see God's love, God's true love, they have an idea of what it is. They're not scared. Hey, you know what? My mom loves my dad like that. My dad loves my mom like that. My grandparents love me like that. Wow. Isn't that so much better than social media says, you know what, if I get so many likes, I'm loved. If I get so many followers, I'm loved, I'm respected. As a child, one of my biggest things was I wanted to earn the respect of my parents. I wanted my mom and dad to be proud of me. Did I do stupid things? Did I jeopardize that in some of my actions? Of course I did. But I always knew that no matter how much I messed up, no matter what I did, don't get me wrong, those are consequences, all right? And they were very uncomfortable consequences. But I never ran from my parents. I ran to my parents. Isn't that what you want your kids to do? You don't want your kids to run to social media, some friend off the street, some stranger in a counselor's office. You want your children to come to you. Watch me. Watch how I handle things. I'm going to try with all my heart to follow what God wants in all of our lives. I will fall short. I will. I will not always speak the right words. I will not always teach the right lesson. But I want my children at some point in their life to not run from me, but run to me. I want my children to one day, whenever they have their children, say, Mom, Dad, man, I was wrong. This is a lot harder than what I thought. I thought it was just about love. I thought if I loved a man or I loved a woman and we got married and we had children and we got into church or we didn't get into church, everything would be okay. After all, I got a four-wheeler. I got a boat. Got a nice home. When it's dark and it's cold and it's empty, that home is cold, dark, and empty. That boat is cold, hard, and empty. But if a man knows how to love a woman and a woman knows how to love a man, it's filled with something. It's filled with warmth, with compassion, with understanding, with an opportunity to survive what the enemy is throwing at you. Please, people, take the attitude, watch me. Watch me. And don't get upset if your kids call you to the mat. I can't tell you how many times my loving son, my rebellious daughter called me to the mat. And I can't tell you how many times that I got defensive. I only got defensive because they were right. That's the only reason I got defensive. They called me out. They saw that my actions were not what my words were saying. That's a humbling experience. You know, they say a teacher, a good teacher, even though they may have an associate or a master's degree or even a doctorate, the good teachers never stop learning. And I'm not talking about book. They're book smart. They've got everything that the books can teach them. But what they don't have is what a child can teach them. So if you see a teacher that learns from each student and then combines that, that's a good teacher. Why don't you be that mom? Why don't you be that dad? Never stop learning from your children. Never, never stop learning. And children, hey, watch your mom and dad. Hold them accountable for everything that they do. Yes, they're going to get mad. They're still going to punish you. You're still going to get grounded. You're still going to get spanking or time out, whatever they do nowadays. But they will never say, nor will they ever be able to say, Mom and Dad didn't care. Through their teenager years, and even as they are young adults, one day, they may never say it to you. Just pray that they do. Mom and Dad, you were right. I don't know about you. I had an opportunity to tell my mom and dad. I knew everything. Mom and Dad, I knew everything. Ever since I was 7 years old, you were wrong in every decision you made. Then I grew up. Then I was saying, Mom, Dad, I was wrong in everything. I was wrong in everything. But so were you. No. Okay, let me try to wrap this up for you. You have a battle between the schools that they attend, the friends that they have, the shows that they watch, the music that they hear and listen to, the social media that they so often turn to. You have the world's view and the craziness of going through this life. But people have a pretty bad idea of what it means to follow Jesus. As parents, you have a chance to go in two directions. Your own knowledge, which some of you parents are great, and most parents are that love their children. But let me ask you something. If you'll totally be honest with me, let's put it on the world's view. If your children has a high school education, nothing wrong with that. But if you had a chance to send your child to college or to a great trade school, would you do that? And I'm going to venture to say that probably 9 out of 10 parents would say, yes, I would. I would love for them to go to college. I would love for them to go to a trade school. This is the way you got to look at it. The church is faulty in so many ways. We are not perfect, and you need to understand that. Even though this church says we don't judge, we don't condemn, we don't talk about people, guilty sometimes. But there's enough of us to say, hey, you know what, Brother Robert? You need to change your attitude. As a shepherd, as a pastor, you need to do better. People are watching you. You're doing a great job being parents. Everyone in here. And I know most of you. Y'all are doing a great job. But try sending them to college. Try sending them to a trade school. So in other words, teach them about Jesus. The love that you see, children, from the love that I have for your dad, for the love that I have for your mom, I got that love from God. If it's true love, it came from God. We need to realize that. Boy, that shook my heart. Woo-hoo. Why not allow your children to experience that? Allow your children to get to the next level. Is it going to be easy? Heck no. Is it going to be time consuming? Heck yes. But the investment is well worth it. It really is. You think your 401k? Yeah, it stinks right now. But the love that Jesus has for me and the love that He's proven that He has for me, I never lose a dividend. Never lose. Never, ever, ever lose. Because guess what? In that big fancy home, in that nice boat, on that nice four-wheeler, on that nice cabin at the lake or at the beach, I can walk in it and I can still feel alone. But when I walk in the presence of Jesus, when I look at my husband and he is showing me the love of God, when I walk in and my wife, even though she's had the kids all day, oh my God, she can still show me that love. It doesn't matter if I have a mansion or I have a shack. It doesn't matter if I have... It doesn't matter what I have. I've got the love of my woman, my man, my children. What else do you want? What else are you working for? What else are you living for? Watch me. See God's love working through me. So when your children get older, they know what they need to look for. All right, they need to look for a man that respects a woman, that honors a woman. Now, don't take these words lightly. Respect and honor a woman. Man, we are built different. We just are. The Bible holds us accountable for everything. Not just part, not just some, but they hold us accountable for everything. So man, we need to be men of God. Our children should see us first. This respect of a woman, the respect of a man, that will follow, that will come. That is the byproduct of being in God's presence and having God's love and showing it to your children and to everyone else. So that's why I hold respect and honor so highly. I fail. Don't think that I'm perfect, because I'm not. Anyone in here, everyone in here has probably seen me fall one time or another. But I'm going to get back up and I'm going to try again. And that's what we all need to do. So all the children stand up real quick. All the children stand up. Everyone. Bella, stand up. She don't say, what are you talking about, dude? You hold your parents accountable. You hold your parents accountable to love you, to honor, to respect you. But let me tell you, your parents are going to make mistakes. They will. I did. Everyone in here has. But they got your back. They'll be there for you. No matter what. They've got you. And if you ever have any questions about that, y'all go ahead and sit back down. If you ever have any questions, if you ever doubt that, come and see me. Come and see me. Parents, those children are looking at you, at everything. They look at you if you sit down and eat a meal. Let's just face it. You work hard. You work hard. There is nothing more fulfilling. Is it easy? Yes. But there's nothing more satisfying than to come in from a hard day's work and your wife is there, or your husband, and you sit down for a meal together. And you look around and you see your wife or your husband, and you see your kids or your grandkids. And you just look back and say, you know what, I just pulled a 10-hour, 12-hour, 14, 16-hour, 24-hour shift. But this is why I did it. So kids will watch me. So they will know what it means to come home. When the world has thrown everything at them and there's no light whatsoever, but as soon as I sit down at this table, the light turns on, the smiley faces. You know what? Dad, you're not going to want to hear about your wife's day. You're not going to want to hear about your kids. Suck it up, Buttercup. Listen. If they want to talk to you, be thankful that they want to talk to you, because one day they're not going to want to talk to you. And then you're going to want that. And don't be my age and regret those moments where, you know what, my child wanted to tell me about this and I was not prepared.